Hello and welcome back to Q&A part 3. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Question number 15, if you're following along in your PDF printouts, which I highly encourage you to do. Part 3, what is energy, vibrations, and water storing information? So what's energy? If you haven't had a sense of experimenting with energy yet, I want you to rub your hands together as fast as you can to create heat. And once you feel like there's been enough heat that was created, I want you to separate them. And I want you to relax. And then I want you to move just one of the hands slightly back and forth. You should begin to feel this tingling sensation. And you can even do it with one finger, and then you feel the impact of one finger if you rotate it, going like this. You're just feeling like something is piercing into your hand, kind of like a laser beam. And if you can't feel it, you can go ahead and do that again. Do it for a longer time frame when you're rubbing the hands. Ultimately, you'll be able to feel energy. It's that magnetic feeling that comes out of your body. Everything is energy. Everything vibrates. And I'm sure you may have experienced many times where you are thinking about someone and they give you a call, or looking behind someone's head and they turn around. Energy. And the energy exists everywhere, not just in a human body, but also outside in all things. Everything vibrates at a certain frequency, including our thoughts. So what is vibration? Vibration is that frequency that exerts out of the body and out of all living things. And water, what is water and what does it have to do with storing information inside the body, is that the Dr. Emoto experiment, I'm sure you may have heard of it, but it's the snowflake experiment, and he froze two water with rice containers. He wrote on one of them, "I hate you," and on one of them, "I love you." Now he froze those two containers and then observed what the snowflakes looked like under the microscope. The one that had "I hate you," that intention of hate, had distorted snowflakes. And the one that had "I love you" had beautiful snowflakes. So he single-handedly proved that our thoughts, the intention, actually influences the water molecules that are inside of our body. And since our body is over 70% water, every single thought we think, every single word we hear, every single music we listen to, everything influences the water molecules in the body. So every time we have a loving thought, an accepting thought, a courageous thought, an uplifting thought, guess what the water molecules inside the body look like? They look like beautiful snowflakes. And when the water molecules look like beautiful snowflakes, guess what happens to the vitality of your body and the condition of your health? You thrive. You are in a state of equilibrium. And now what happens if you constantly have negative thoughts, negative thought patterns? Those thought patterns lead to different addictions because you're trying to mask the truth the truth of your feelings, because you don't want to get to the bottom of it. So what happens when you have negative thoughts, when you're blaming others, when you allow yourself to get caught up in the mind, when you are eating unhealthy, when you have other habits that are unhealthy, what happens to the water molecules inside your body? When you've acquired addictions as a result of the inability to face the truth, the water molecules in the body look like distorted snowflakes. And guess what happens when the snowflakes are distorted for long enough? That's the cause of all pain and suffering, and the cause of all disease, is that inability to change who we are, what we think. So when we don't cater to these water molecules inside of our body by drinking right, eating right, having better thoughts, transforming our thoughts, taking responsibility for our own happiness, our own transformation, what happens to the body when we don't take ourselves seriously and when we don't cater to the water molecules? Well, it doesn't thrive. So I welcome you to start looking into this concept, realizing that every single thought you have, everything that you are exposed to, the types of people, circumstances, events, influences the composition of who you are. And if you want to change, you're going to have to be the one to do it. Outside circumstances cannot do it for you. And you start with your visioning, writing, your daily rituals. And perhaps, if you have to, you start letting go of relationships that don't serve you anymore. Because at the end of the day, this is all about you, catering to the water molecules inside of your body. So in order to cater to them and live efficiently, effectively, in a state of vitality, you got to take this seriously. You got to change yourself. Next question. How can I trust my intuition? Good question. And there's not a simple answer for that. Intuition takes a lot of work to trust. But the first step I would recommend for you to do is to start working with this pyramid of consciousness, and to start at these lower vibrational states, at the root, that sacral, the solar plexus, those lower chakras, and go through those and see what emotions you still need to digest. Because most people live in this victim abuser consciousness. And in order to trust your intuition and to live in spirit, you're going to have to elevate yourself up the pyramid of consciousness. From being an I am guilty of this, I feel this, blaming and doing, to loving more, speaking no, and knowing more of what you truly are. So in order to trust your intuition, you're going to have to go on this path of awakening, this path of transformation in your creative output. So however you choose to do it, whether you're going to use the vision boards, whether you're going to use writing, whether you're going to use daily rituals, in order to trust your intuition, you're going to have to do the work. And intuition is often in the beginning the little subtle voice that tells you, go over here, go over there. And when you start listening to it, or don't do this, or when a friend calls, for example, and she makes you feel guilty because she needs your help with something, but you're like, no, I am right now in the middle of my own creation, I can't do it. When you trust that voice, trust yourself, and you follow what makes you feel good, you trust your intuition. Because it's always for a bigger reason than what it seems to be. So when you start this listening to yourself process, you're starting to check in and you're starting to trust your intuition, because you're starting to listen to the little voice within that tells you, go over here, go over there. Don't go over there, that doesn't feel good. Go over there, that feels better. So that's intuition, the little voice within that speaks to you all the time, and until you learn to check in with it, you wouldn't know how to use it. So learning how to check in with it is your first step to learning how to trust it. Next, what does it mean to live from the heart? So to live from the heart, to live heart wide open, means to go through your forgiveness practice. Because when you are forgiving, you're literally allowing for chi, for prana, for life force energy to flow through you, and you're opening the heart. So forgiveness is like the key to opening the heart, if you can imagine it that way. So when you find a forgiveness practice and then you use it, you are opening your heart, the path to unconditional love. And when you open your heart, that means you are not afraid to feel and experience all the emotions, because they are part of life, because you realize that you are all the emotions. And you have to experience each and every one of them, the shame, the guilt, the grief, the abandonment, the jealousy, the anger, in order to open your heart to forgiveness. At that frequency of 200 is the switching station, the middle of your body, switching chakra. At 200, you begin to have courage, forgiveness, acceptance of other people. And from there on up, your creativity is born, your reason, your love, you understand oneness, non-duality, divinity, and enlightenment. But you cannot feel truly open-hearted unless you have gone through these lower vibrational states, which most of the people live in. Because we have come here to relate and see one another and feel one another. Whether we like it or not, we feel each other. No matter how far away somebody is, if they're experiencing loss, we feel it. We're connected. We are one. If there's joy, we feel it. We're connected. We are one. Okay. So how to be in touch with my inner child? So as I previously mentioned, there is a little child inside of every one of us. So I want you to visualize yourself as a little kid, and that child that's inside of you wants you to love them. He or she is crying out for love, for you to be the parent to your inner child. Because no matter how much we grow, how old we are, there's still a little soul inside of us, a little kid that just wants to be loved, to feel accepted, to know that everything is going to be okay, to know that what you do matters, that it makes the world better, that it creates an impact, that it transforms lives. So every little kid really wants the same thing, is to be happy, to be loved, to contribute, no matter how old you get. And in order to start being more in touch with this inner child, you've got to recognize that. You got to look at your own photographs. Maybe you can pause this recording right now and go find a photograph of yourself as a kid and put that next to your vision board that you're going to create. And remember that this is the essence of who you are, that kid always and forever. And if you operate from that inner child state, from that more playful state, not taking things so seriously, then your life is going to be more joyous. And if you can create the world for yourself, where you are more silly, more playful, more fun, then you can help others create the same thing by demonstrating to them what it's like to cater to that inner child, to be more playful, to know that everything's okay, to be more relaxed, more fun. So go ahead and grab that picture of you as a baby if you've got one, and I'll see you right back. The next question is feminine versus masculine aspects of ourselves. How to be in touch with both sides and open our heart to being vulnerable. So inside of each and every one of us, there's a man and a woman. Hence, we came from a man and a woman. There's a masculine and feminine, the yang and the yin. And the masculine is very much goal-oriented, is I'm going to solve a problem, here is the vision. And feminine is more fluid and creative and expressive and flowy and dancing. And we all have both of those parts. But for some people, they have one that's more dominant than the other. Because males, for example, in today's society have been taught to be strong. So they operate with their masculinity, forgetting that their emotional side, that feminine side, also needs to be embraced so they can be vulnerable, so they can relate more, so they can be in touch with who they are more, so they can love themselves more. There could be also women that are a lot more masculine than men when they're go-getters, they're high achievers, and they're like go, 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 destination-oriented, goal-oriented, very workaholics. They could be forgetting about their feminine fluidity, so that they're very rigid, and that makes them very miserable because they don't know how to flow and how to relax. On the other side, there could be males that are a lot more feminine, a lot more in touch with their feminine side. And women who are a lot more in touch with their feminine side, and they're not so good at goal setting, creating money, and things like that. So in order to feel and live the true aspect of who we are, we got to combine this yin-yang, this masculine and feminine, and embrace that we are both of those things, and we are dancing, coexisting, always in both spectrums. And to be vulnerable means to open up to feelings. And it takes a very strong man to be able to do that. And that's the beauty in life, is when people can open up to their feelings, to their emotions, being vulnerable to every aspect of themselves. Okay? The next question. Why change is hard? Change is hard because we like our comfort zone. Because we like a repetition, we don't like surprises, because the unknown is scary. Because it's not known. If it was known, it wouldn't be scary, but then it wouldn't be exciting either. So change is very difficult, is because we humans like to operate from patterns. We like to stay comfortable, and we will do anything to preserve our comfort zone than experience something uncomfortable and put all our money on the line, or everything on the line for our dreams, because we don't know how it's going to turn out. At the end of the road, when we are thinking about change, we always think that we're not going to have enough. So if we let go of this certain type of lifestyle, for example, we're at a job where we're making a decent amount of money, if we let go of this job and embrace change by jumping over to the other side, to becoming an entrepreneur, we are scared that we're going to run out of money, which ultimately means what? That we're not going to have enough food, that we won't have enough shelter, which ultimately means what? We are going to die. So it's because of this fear of death that we don't embrace change. But I want you to recall back on memories that if change didn't happen, you wouldn't become the person that you are. And now, aren't you grateful that things in your life happened, and this is why you had become the person that you are? But yet, the unknown is so scary. But it doesn't have to be unknown. If you are creating a vision and you're marching toward it, you're manifesting, you're transforming in the process, then it is known. You prepare yourself for magic. And then change becomes inevitable and you embrace it because you condition yourself to understand this process of transformation and constant change through your daily rituals. Next question. 21, if you're following along. What is meditation? How will I have more time and focus? Meditation is the ability to be present. It's not necessarily even just sitting down and closing your eyes and getting rid of thoughts, although that happens once in a great while. It is the ability to be fully immersed in whatever you're doing. So, for example, you're doing dishes. You are only doing dishes. You're observing the soap. You're here and now. You're not in your mind somewhere else focused on anything you're going to be doing before or after. You are fully in that experience. If you are hiking, for example, your ability to be present in that hike, looking at the trees, looking at the ground, maybe touching the water in the lake, maybe hugging a tree. If you're fully present and you're not in the mind or thinking about what you have to do next, then you're meditating. Meditation is just an awareness state where you're fully immersed in your experience. And if you do want to start sitting down and meditating, then it's not about getting rid of thought. Ultimately, you will get to that. You'll have moments of no thought, which are beautiful, total still moments. But that's not the intention that you're going into meditation for. Your intention is to become the observer of your thoughts. So when you close your eyes, you can focus on a constant sound, a sound that's not going to change. That's what works for me, like the sound of a freeway or air conditioner, or you can put some music on. And you slow down and you just take a couple of deep breaths. And you can start with 5 minutes a day, but you have to create this new habit of doing it. And every time a thought comes to you, I imagine it like being in a cloud. This thought that comes, and I observe it, and then I move the cloud along. I let the thoughts pass. I'm simply observing them, not judging them, not getting caught up in the story of what it means, but I'm simply seeing them and letting them pass. And sometimes, yes, after doing this for a while, you will be able to relax enough that you won't be able to tell where your hand is, where your foot is, because you will just feel this oneness, this stillness. But that takes time. And initially, it doesn't have to be that. That's not your goal. Your goal is to become aware of thoughts and not give them any power. Make sense? Okay. And a lot of people have told me, I don't have enough time to meditate. I don't have enough time to meditate. And what I tell them is that if you meditate, you will have more time in your day. You will be more focused. Because what meditation allows you to do is to slow down. And then if you do the rest of your rituals, if you have your 7F manifesting vision board, then you will see how you can get a lot more done throughout your day after doing your rituals, after doing your meditations, a lot more done of the things that are important to you with a lot less chatter of the mind. Because you will be very focused, you will be grounded, you will be still, much more frequency aligned to what you truly want and what's truly important. So meditation actually creates more time for you to do the things that you love and the things that are important for you. Yes. 22, if you're following along, of part 3, what tools are available that will transform my life? Ooh, so many. Where do I start? Book writing is definitely an amazing tool. I talk about in my book, The Emotion Code is a book that really helped me release a lot of trapped emotions in my body with magnets and certain questions. different psychedelic medicines after the right supervision, shamanic medicines like ayahuasca, like DMT, are really good tools. Mushrooms, psilocybin, you can even microdose that, are really good tools for transformation. Of course, if you do it the right way and you get the right coach for you to do those, I would highly recommend. Or if you are doing it on your own, make sure that you're integrating those lessons, because that's the most important part, by writing and probably working one-on-one with somebody, so you can really get those lessons that you are acquiring, this frequency shift through these different psychedelic medicines, and implementing it to live a better life, so you can have a better everyday present life. I recommend the Wim Hof breath work, which is a breath work. I love the fire breath work. I absolutely love affirmations that you can embody and change your life, the daily rituals that I talk about, and obviously all of this is found in my book, The Girl with the Buddha Tattoo, the 7F manifesting, the vision board template that I discuss. What else do I talk about? Oh yeah, managing triggers. So using different techniques to transform yourself when you're heated up. Gosh, there's just so many tools out there. Dancing is a great tool, and physical exercise, because physical exercise is actually an integration of everything that you learn in your mind. It disperses through the body, and all the information that you get, all the downloads when you are doing physical exercise, you're actually channeling it down to every part of your body. So that's very important. Yoga, the Ho'oponopono mantra for forgiveness, hugging trees. I mean, there's just so many tools out there, and the ones that I described are in my book, and so many more. But choose what's right for you. Choose whatever works for you, and I welcome you to stick with what works and integrate, really digest it through any form of self-expression, like writing or speaking. Okay? And that was it for part 3. Woo! I'm so excited. Thank you so much for following along. If you have questions, comments, concerns, join our Facebook group. We're here to help. And I just want to salute you for doing an amazing job. So congratulations. I love you.